Sometimes we all feel afraid, even grown-ups. And different people have different ways of coping with stressful situations in life. Christians, like me, find it really helpful to pray when things get out of control. We ask God for His power when our problems are way too big for us. I'm going to tell you a story from the Bible where things were really out of control. It's quite an old story, about 2,000 years old. But as you hear it, think about what you can learn from this story. Think about how it applies to you. It was a dark and stormy night, and there were at least 12 men out on a small fishing boat in the middle of the Sea of Galilee. The men were Jesus' friends, His students, His disciples. But Jesus wasn't with them. He'd stayed on the land to pray, and they'd gotten in the boat. The Sea of Galilee is a big lake about 8 miles across. They're in the middle, so a few miles in. They were a long way from the land. And the wind against them was so strong that even with everyone pulling in the same direction, they just couldn't row against it. So they're getting nowhere. I don't know if you've ever been on a boat in choppy, rough waters, but it makes you feel a bit seasick. And that's what it was like for these guys. The Bible says they were being battered and beaten by the pounding waves. And this went on for hours, from evening until just before the dawn. So spare a thought for these poor blokes. They must have been freezing and soaking wet. Now, I don't know if you've ever used a rowing machine or been on a boat like that, but I couldn't manage rowing for 10 minutes, let alone 9 hours. Eventually, it makes your arms and your back ache. So they're in some pain, and they're just tired. They're afraid, and they're really scared, because it looks like they're not going to make it. If the boat goes down, they can't swim back to the shore. It's miles away. These men are experienced fishermen, and they know the lake well. But this storm is as bad as it gets, so all they can do is hold on. But then it gets worse. At first, it wasn't clear what was happening. It was dark, just before dawn. The light was dim. If you see a flash of lightning, you might get a glimpse for just a split second. But as you look out onto the water, eventually it becomes clear that there's someone out there, like a ghost, walking on the water, coming straight at you. And they all saw the same thing. So if you weren't scared before, now you're terrified. These are grown men, but they screamed. Can you imagine what that was like for them? These days people get scared of all sorts of things. Spiders, snakes, heights, a bad illness, deadly killer viruses. We get scared of big change. Moving schools, leaving home, moving house, a new job perhaps. Life is sometimes pretty scary, but rarely do you have to go through something like this, where you think your ship's going down in the middle of the water and the spirits have come to get you. So they were scared. It looks bad, doesn't it? So what happened? What happened next? They hear a voice. It's not one of them. It's coming from outside the boat. But it's not a scary voice. It's not ghostly. It's familiar, friendly, and it's speaking their language. They can understand the words. Don't worry, it's me. Don't be afraid. They must have looked quite confused. Don't be afraid? Seriously? But in the dim light, a man called Peter looks over to the man standing on the water. Jesus? Is that you? Yes, it's me. Don't be afraid. Peter literally can't believe his eyes, because as far as he's concerned, people don't walk on the water. I can't walk on water. I've tried a few times in the swimming pool, but I couldn't do it. Apparently you can walk on custard, but not water. I've seen a couple of magicians try to do a trick where they walk on the water, normally really calm water, like a swimming pool. In 2011, a magician called Dynamo stepped out onto the River Thames in London. It looked like he was walking on the water. But whenever you see this kind of stuff on TV, it's just an illusion. Later on, you find out they were standing on a see-through plastic floor or something like that. But this wasn't calm water. Jesus didn't have a plastic floor. This was 2,000 years ago. Some people think Jesus was surfing on a floating piece of ice, an iceberg, in the Middle East, which is famous for being hot. But that somewhat misses the point of the story. This is one of the miracles of Jesus, and we're supposed to think this is a miracle. Jesus has seen his friends in trouble, and he's come to help them. Peter looks at Jesus and thinks, I'm safer with him than I am in the boat. So he gets all bold and says, Lord, because it's you, tell me to come to you on the water. Jesus said, come. So Peter, holding onto the boat, puts one leg out onto the water, and the water takes his weight. We don't know how many steps Peter took, but when he fixed his eyes on Jesus, the water took his weight. But then he got scared. You know, when you see someone walking a tightrope, they often say, don't look down, just look straight ahead. If you look down, you'll lose your nerve and fall. Well, you could say the same thing to Peter here. Don't look at the wind, don't look at the waves, and definitely don't look at the boat. Just look straight ahead, straight at Jesus. So what did Peter do? He looked down. And as soon as he looked down, he lost his nerve and started sinking. And now he's in real trouble, because he's not even in the boat. And he shouts out at the top of his voice, Lord, save me! Jesus reaches out his hand and grabs him. And he says to Peter, you of little faith, why did you doubt? They both climbed into the boat. And as soon as Jesus put his feet in the boat, the wind and the waves died down, and they all made it safely to the shore. The men in the boat worshipped him, and they said, truly, you are the Son of God. That was their natural response to what they had just seen. And that's the Bible's explanation for how this happened. I can't walk on the water, and I don't know you that well, but the chances are that you can't either. But the miracles of Jesus aren't done by just anyone. The Bible says Jesus is the Son of God, and God can do whatever he likes, possible or impossible. So what are we supposed to learn from this story? What are Christians like me who hear this story supposed to think? Firstly, sometimes you find yourself in a situation where you're completely out of control. There's nothing you can do. In this story, Jesus sees his friends in trouble and he comes to help them. He says to them, don't worry, it's me. Don't be afraid. He's the one who can help them, who can do something about their problems. When they look at him, they're bold, they can walk on water. When they look at the storm, they start to sink. When they try to deal with it themselves, they get nowhere. When Jesus gets in the boat, the wind dies down and they arrive safely at the shore. So if I'm reading this story right, when I'm scared about things that happen to me in my life, God already knows about it. And the Son of God says to me, don't be afraid. He can help. Sometimes I pray like Peter did when he started sinking, Lord, save me. That's a good prayer. It's not too long, but it's not too short either. But then look at what Jesus says to Peter. You of little faith, why did you doubt? In fairness, Peter probably doubted because he was outside the boat in a big scary storm. But Jesus wants to build up Peter's faith in him. You didn't need to be afraid, Peter. I'd got you. And Jesus says the same thing to his church today. You don't need to be afraid, church. I've got this. Do you trust me? And for a Christian like me, this is brilliant, because every time I get scared, I read those words of Jesus. Don't worry, it's me. Don't be afraid. But what about you? How do you think this story applies to you? When do you feel afraid? What part of this story do you find the most helpful? The churches of Kingston upon Thames hope that you find this story really encouraging, and that next time you feel worried about something, you'll remember what happens and how the story ends. Why not take a moment now to think about it? What do you find the most comforting part of this story?